Hey Mike, just wanted to take a few minutes and go over a few of the things that I've been working on, just trying to pull some things together for getting started with the new site. So, got your email with the login for the WordPress site itself, and got your login for the hosting site. I was able to log in, and I see where the database is. I see where the file system is. Just took some initial looking, at those two things. Didn't try to write any scripts just yet, just getting some initial thoughts together on how big this thing is. And so again, the overall plan is for me to start moving some of those files over now to a new server so we can begin development. But we'll want to rerun that later on when we do our final changeover. So we already talked about that. So anyway, this is a new site, and so there's a lot of things to talk about, and we're kind of doing this differently than a lot of other projects I've worked on. So just want to kind of cover a few things up front. So between now and July, give or take, I'll be working without any compensation, and that's fine. I'm totally I've worked before, and I completely trust you. I have no reason to doubt that you have the money coming in that you'd be willing to pay. So that's not a problem at all. Just as I spoke before, I have 5 children and a wife, and so I've got to do things to kind of keep the lights on between now and July. So I have other clients that I'm working on, and just wanted to set the expectation that it's my goal to spend at least 10 to 20 hours a week working on this project for you. And there'll be some days like today where it might be minimal. One of my sons has autism, and so my wife and I share the load and the responsibility of getting him driven to different therapy appointments. And so a lot of that was today, and I've got some more of it tomorrow. And so Tuesdays and Wednesdays are going to be kind of my light days. I really can't get a lot done those days because of taking care of my family. But throughout the rest of the week, you can expect to see progress made each day. So, but just want to let you know that I'm taking this very seriously, and I want you to be happy. I want you to be impressed with what I'm putting out each week, and also the quality of the work. But just know that there'll be some days that it'll be a little bit lighter than others, and that's just because I have to do other things to take care of my family and support my family. So anyway, moving along. So one of the first things that we're going to work on is a design, and I'll try and get some. These are just some quick snapshots to give you some idea of what I'm talking about. Like, we don't even really have to talk about colors or what exactly is going where, but just a general layout. And you can see from this diagram that we're going to have our navigation on the top, as opposed to maybe on the left. Now, that's not a decision. I'm just saying that's a proposed idea. And we may have a large scrollable image area here that we have recent images up here, and then we'll have kind of these other block areas for news and events and other things that we want to link to on the site. But anyway, so we need to come up with that design. We'll also want to come up with a similar design for mobile. Mobile is going to be very similar in some ways to desktop, but it's also going to have a lot of things that's different about it as far as like, for instance, let me go back here, it probably won't have this big image scroll bar. That's a kind of a bad use of real estate on the mobile. So we'll have something like a static image, and these are just some quick images I grabbed, but we'll have something in the middle that's just like one static image, and that provides better bandwidth management for the mobile phone. We don't want these sites to be really heavy when it comes to to data. We want it to be really light and lean, and so we'll design the site to be just that. So on the mobile end, on the mobile app side of things, not that this is a big concern of yours, but we're going to be using a framework called Ionic. If I said that we're writing the website and the mobile site in .NET, we're going to be writing the mobile app in Ionic. And this is a great tool. I've used it a few times before on projects with friends and coworkers, and I love it. It's just a great platform. It's going to make your app look nice and crisp and easily responsive, and so it's a good way to go. One of the neat things about working with Ionic is that we basically write it once, and from there I'm able to take that same code and deploy it to an Android, an Apple, a Windows Phone, a BlackBerry. Although I kind of laugh at the idea of BlackBerry because we don't want to go to BlackBerry. It's a pain in the butt. But we'll definitely do Android and Apple. We may do Windows. We can talk about that as we get further along. one thing to consider when it comes to this is we have to get developer licenses for each one of these platforms. So you go to Google, you sign up for a 1-year development license, development license, and it's $100 a year for Android. It's $100 a year for Apple. I don't know what Windows is. I want to say it's free, but if it's not free, then it's minimal, like $25. But that's an annual cost that we have to maintain in order to keep this code to where we can push it to the Google Play Store, the Apple Store, the iTunes Store, things like that. So, excuse me. All right. So the website and the mobile site will live on Azure. And this is, again, Microsoft's cloud hosting platform. So you have to forgive me. I can't remember the name of the one that you sent me earlier, the hosting platform, but the new one would be Azure. I'll get you some exact pricing. Starting out, again, we're looking like $15 a month. It's, especially over the next 2 to 3 months while we're developing. Just enough money to cover the hosting, just enough money to cover the database, and we're good. We don't need to go any higher than that. And then once we launch, we could say, okay, let's maybe bump it up to like the $50 tier level or something like that, so we can get a little more speed in there, a little more memory, and hit the ground running. So, but we'll cover that as we get there. Let's see what's next. So one thing we'll definitely want to do is purchase an SSL certificate. And this means that the entire website is going to run on HTTPS, everything from the home page to the signing out page or anything. It's all going to be secure from start to finish. And that's for like several reasons. I mean, you can imagine that your user is using either the app or the website, and they're doing GPS locations for phishing and whatnot. And maybe they don't want just any old stranger knowing like where and when they've been. This data will transfer to and from the server encrypted. Because if you were to, as a hacker, if you were to connect into a server or some router with the local service provider, and if that traffic wasn't encrypted, then anyone could just track the movement of your guests, and that's no one likes that. So the whole thing's going to be encrypted. An SSL runs like $60 a year, so not a big cost there, and we just encrypt the whole site, and we don't have to worry about it. So, going back to I just made a comment about GPS. So I went and did some reading. I was pretty sure about this, but I had to look this up. The iPhone and most Android devices, because that's a pretty big market there when we're talking about Android, but we're talking a vast majority of Android, have an actual GPS antenna built in them. So if I'm out on the ocean, even 20, 30 miles from the seashore, and I can't get any cell service, I can still get GPS. So your idea of hey, I'm on the boat, I just want to be able to open up the app, it gets my GPS location, I enter some information, click save, it saves it to the local device, and then when I get back to the shore and I've got cellular signal, I can either choose to upload it then, or maybe even wait till I get home and I use my Wi-Fi so I'm not burning up my data plan, and upload it then. But yes, you can get GPS coordinates out on the ocean, no problem. They can save all of it locally, get back to either the shore or an office, get Wi-Fi, and upload it all to the site then. So anyway, quick checklist is I'm going to go into Azure and create a development environment for this, create the SQL server. I'm perfectly fine, happy to carry the $15 a month cost on these two things until July. It doesn't bother me at all. So we can just keep that going. And then once we hit July and there's some money's changing hands, I'll definitely want to start putting this in your hands. Let's put the Azure environment under your name. Let's put the SQL Server under your name. And it's not for cost. It's just I want you to feel hey, this is yours. That if Matt gets hit by a bus in July, you're not where did everything go? You've got it. We'll have all the code checked into an online repository where you have control over that, so that again, Matt gets hit by a bus. You could go get another developer. It's I've got the code, I've got the hosting, I've got all this. It's you've got it. So I just didn't want that to be on me. I wanted you to feel comfortable hey, I've paid for this and now I've got it. So we'll definitely work on that. But yeah, the two big things starting this week is let's start migrating some, if not all, the data that we have in the MySQL database to a SQL server, and then migrate files pictures and documents and stuff like that to the new file system. And then, like I said in the very beginning, let's definitely start at least hammering out a site design, even if it's just a rough design. Let's get something going to where we've got something to look at. Because I know you're going to be anxious to like see what this is going to look at, and of course I can't really do that until I get some of this data in this new system. But let's try and get a site design up. So what I'll do is I'll send over some things and say, hey, what do you think? What do you think about this? And if you like it, we'll move forward with it. And of course, if a month from now you're like, hey, can we make this smaller, bigger? Can we get rid of this? Can we make it 4 or 2? Obviously, those are easy changes to make, not a big deal. But let's just get something on paper, or on screen so we can look at it. So that's what I've got. I've got plenty of time tomorrow. If you can give me a little bit of notice, like, hey, can you meet in 30 minutes or meet in an hour? I can definitely, make some time and we can chat and go over some things. But that's where I am right now, and if there's anything that you're concerned about, let me know. We'll take a look at it. But happy to be working with you, and I feel very confident that I can design a site and an app that you'll be absolutely happy with. I mean, this is it's always nice to start from the ground up because we don't have to try and carry on the mistakes of other developers. We can make this right the first time from the ground up, and feel really confident you'll be happy. So. Want you to be happy all along the way. Just wanted to kind of set some expectations in the beginning so that we're all on the same page. So, give me a ring tomorrow or send me a text, and we'll talk tomorrow and go from there. Thanks.